Meeting to order. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's do a roll call, please.
Wonderchum?
Here.
Hybor. Buck? Yes. Gardine. Palmer?
Yes.
Hahn?
Here.
Klein.
Here. Please note as a courtesy to the members of the audience and the Board of Education to silence your cell phones. The public will only be able to speak during the public comment section if signed up. Do we have any public comment slips tonight? We have none. All right. First order of business, can you get approval of the agenda or motion to approve it?
Support.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? And we have the reports agenda. Why don't we just work our way around the table, starting with Brad?
I sent an email to Brian Parsons on this, but just something from a lacrosse game last week, Forest Hills Northern. It was a cousins event. I have two nephews on that team. Then my son plays, and my brother's side and my wife's sister's side, they just commented how much they respected our lacrosse program and coaches, because when the game got out of reach, our coach substituted players and let everybody else play, where they said that their team hasn't been the best this year, and they've, other teams have kept it in, just kept running up the score, and just how dejected their kids were. And I mean, they actually came back and made it a respectable score, but my family was very impressed with the lacrosse coach on that.
So great to hear.
And then just looking forward to all the graduation activities coming up here. It's going to be great and sad.
Yeah.
I just wonder who the coach is that you're talking about.
Strunk is his last name.
Jeremy?
Yep.
That person.
Yep.
Awesome.
He was an intern of mine,
Was he?
so I must have taught him something.
That's all you are. You got it. Bob.
Nothing.
Christy.
Oh, just amazing senior awards night. Congrats to you and to Kim and to Jason, and just how proud y'all must be with your kids. And being present at the awards is something else. Shows a lot of accomplishment. So, but it just was outstanding to hear teachers' recognition, and then obviously the Fishers, and just folks are so well deserving. And how amazing for our kids that night.
Sure.
In addition, just been obviously everybody's doing it, but just driving by the middle school and just simply in awe of the new building, and just super excited with what you're going to talk about too. But it just looks absolutely magnificent when you're just driving up Wilson or up Canal Ways. But super proud of what we've been able to do and how important the bond passing was, and the ability to be able to afford such a beautiful facility and provide good education. So that's about it for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just like to echo what Chrissy said about the senior awards night. It was really quite impressive, the number of students and all the accomplishments that they've had. And of course, you all as parents, you must have been, you couldn't have been prouder, I'm sure. That was such a great night. I had a chance to speak with a teacher, and they were just saying how they believe that the 5th, 6th building and the 7th, 8th, that's going to really work out well for some of the students. She was glad that we had moved forward in that, and yeah, that's something new for Grandville, and that it seems to be, at least what I heard, was supportive, and think it's going to be really worthwhile for our students learning.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Before I get onto all the good stuff, I do want to note condolences from the board to Mrs. Worling at the middle school, who lost her husband this week. Very young, talented man, was the band instructor at East Kentwood. So I'm sure their community is hurting, and ours is hurting for her as well. So please keep her in your thoughts and prayers if that's a practice of yours. I also want to send our thoughts to Brett Kempema. His family had a house fire this week. He's one of our teachers at Century Park Learning Center. Everyone's safe in that situation, including the pets. Just a little smoke inhalation and pause with glass in them, but I'm glad their family made it out. But we should be looking out as a community for ways to help their family in this time. We know we had another family along Canal lose their home about 2 weeks ago as well. So keep your eye out for opportunities to help through the Red Cross or other GoFundMe opportunities in our community. It's what we're proud of here.
Tanya Kemp.
Yeah, Tanya, yeah.
She's at the
Sorry,
middle school?
Tanya's at the
Middle
middle
school.
school and Brett is
Yes,
at,
yes.
Brett is at the Century Park. Long time, wonderful employees. Thank you for your thoughts about senior night. It was there. It was just wonderful. For me, as an educator, looking out at everyone, it's just, you get this feeling of the culmination of everything our teachers work towards and everything our parents work toward and everything our community works towards, our bus drivers, our food service people. It's a really special night. And we have a lot of special celebrations going on the next 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to seeing those and being a part of them and just honoring all the great things our students are doing in our town and beyond, from going into the trades to going right into work, to going to the military, to attending academies, military academies, colleges. We just have so much wonderfulness going on here. So thank you to everyone who's making that happen for our students. Thank you to the music program and to the theater program. The Music Man was wonderful. It was a great thing to see this week, or about 2 weeks ago. Got to go watch some plays at some other schools too, and that was wonderful. And of course, my favorite thing of the month is One Good Thing, and I have a list of great things from all of our administrators. So first of all, at Grandville, their 5th and 6th grade just went to Camp Henry, which is a wonderful experience. If you've never seen Camp Henry, it's up in Newaygo. There's horse riding and rock climbing walls and boats and all sorts of great things up there. And they had 2 wonderful days there with fantastic temperatures in the 80s. So happy for them to get out and learn some team building and some science while getting that experience at camp. They're also planning their 2nd annual Read Aloud, a day full of reading and literacy just to celebrate their hard work for the year. And they're also opening a reading garden starting next Monday. They had 2 parents who came in and weeded, planted, and sweated to make that happen and get it done. So they're really excited about that. At West, they are excited to announce that they followed Central and South's lead and hosted Donuts with Grown-Ups. Actually, they're hosting it next week. And they're excited to have the opportunity to have parents come in and connect with a child at school or other significant adults in their life. And they're having a field day soon. And they're doing that at the middle school due to some upgrades going on at the Little League fields. It's a win-win for everyone. And they really wanted to point this out to the board. Thank you for the air conditioning. They said it was much needed, necessary, and appreciated this week. And they're looking forward to senior week and seeing all their graduates come back there next week. Century Park Learning Center had a family activity and movie night that they were really excited to host at Central Elementary. And this one just knocked my socks off. I had to ask him, are you correct on that number? Their PTC, and why this is impressive is they call one section, so it's like 1 teacher for each grade level. So, their funding or their ability to raise funds are kind of commensurate with their size, right? The more parents you have, the more money you can raise. One walkathon, they raised $11,500. So that's amazing. I'm very impressed. And then I asked him back, hey, what you gonna do with that money? And he said some new playground equipment, toys, playground paint and art for interactive areas, some student field trips, some central family activities and events like the Donuts with Grown-Ups, and some classroom supplies. So thank you to the community for pitching in on that. Mr. Martini at Cummings said that they enjoyed Star Wars Day on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. And of course, a visit from Darth Vader was included. I'm guessing that was Mr. Martini because he loves to do stuff like that. That's why he's so beloved by the students. He's such a good actor. The kids all dressed up. They had a great time. And they're having field day this week again. They're so happy to have the parents there spectating and helping out with activities. And they're doing 6 performances this week for families to come in and see their students showing off their skills on the recorders and ukulele. So mad props to our music department for making those things happen. And at the middle school, they wanted to share with you that they recently had several events with their green team, the environmental team, working with a local conservationist, where they worked along Wedgewood Park at Buck Creek, learned a lot about healthy water systems, about trout, and did lots of really neat things. They are studying the organisms of the water and how to keep our watershed system healthy. So love to see folks getting out, doing things in the environment, and learning how we can protect things for our community. And I just got one from the high school, and they wanted to let you know that their career fair was a huge success. There's an article about it. And they just want to acknowledge how wonderful the class of 2022 is, and they're exceptional and excited to move on to graduation with them and see them fly into the next part of their career. So all those one good things add up to a lot of good things,
Great.
and I really
Thank you for
appreciate
sharing
them.
that.
Yeah, it's great to hear those things. So that's all for me.
Okay. Well, there is nothing I can say to add in that. Maybe the review show. The review show was awesome last week.
Yes.
I'll throw that in there.
Oh, yeah,
attended
the
that,
choir review.
and that was great. But there's nothing I can say, but there's something I can do. And that something I can do is introduce our sensational South students and Mrs. Moore and their families. And I know they have something they would like to share with us tonight. So take it away.
Thank you. I am Julie Moore. I'm a sixth grade teacher at South Elementary, and this is Jessica Zakel and Emma Clatter. They are my fish experts. For 3 years now, South has done salmon in a classroom, but we don't just have it in a classroom, we have it out in the hallway. So we got rid of part of our collaboration corner and made it the fish tank corner. And so it's important for us that you guys know too, and they have the little shout out to Shrems of West Michigan. Their Trout Unlimited program provided us with all of our material that we needed for the tank, including every time something would break. One of our parents in the district, Dave Helder, he was like on my speed dial all the time. Like, Dave, we have a leak in the fish tank. Dave, I just had 5 fish die. What do we do? And so he was super helpful. But this is a program that it's really important that you guys know that is available to every school in our district if they're interested. And the purpose is the girls will explain why the fish are introduced to our Great Lakes, because they're not indigenous to our Great Lakes. But the DNR has created a program to replenish salmon in our Great Lakes because it is a big part of our tourism industry for fishing. So just know that any school in Michigan can do this, and it's perfect for the school year. Every year we release salmon, even during the pandemic, with our masks and everything, kids showed up to release salmon. So the other part I want to show you is you don't just get your salmon and go. Wolf Lake State Fish Hatchery is really great about introducing this to all students and staff. They provide training, they have different websites, they have everything you need, and it supplements everything we already do for science. So you can look at any standard in science and you can make it fit to have salmon in the classroom. So it's just an added thing. The other bonus we noticed is we have the regional ASD program in our building, and for some of those kiddos, it was awesome for them to just be able to go up and look at the salmon, and you can just see the calm come over them. So it's for all students. It was really great. One of the things, though, I want to have the girls do for you, because they did all the work. I just went to the training, I picked up the eggs, and these 2 ladies did everything else. So I'm going to have them go through everything else. So take a deep breath. Okay, girls, you got this. All right, so why Chinook, ladies?
Chinook salmon are a charismatic educational tool. They grow fast, get large, and do well in captivity. Their life cycle also perfectly lines up with the school year. Parents, local businesses, sports groups, and nonprofit sponsored tanks in the classroom around the state.
All right, and again, we're giving another shout out to Shrems. So what happens is the volunteers go and they, through organizations like Trout Unlimited, they go and they count out all these fish. They raise them in these big tanks and they count them out for us, and they have trays that every person, every school who participates, they get 150 fish eggs. Realistically, you hope you get to 100 to survive. Ladies, how many do we have this year?
6.
The great part about our 6 this year, though, is they all had names, and it was a sad goodbye, but they knew that they were helping the environment. And so when we go to pick up the eggs, there are special permits that are included that we have to carry, because believe it or not, if you do happen to get pulled over by the DNR, if you do not have the license to carry these, that there's consequences for that. But that right there, it doesn't look like it, but it's about 150 fish eggs. So they will explain to you their responsibilities and what they did. What do you guys do every week for the salmon?
We cleaned out the tank and emptied and refilled the water when it got a little gross.
And if you look, and it was gross, and that was with 6. And they made sure that the ammonia levels didn't get too high because the fish would die with ammonia levels. and they learned about the different life cycles of the fish. All right, you ready for the next one? All right. Ready? All right.
So, young Chinook in rivers eat insects, insect larvae, and crustaceans. Adults in lakes eat mostly fish. In the Great Lakes, smelt and alewives make up their main diet. That is why Chinook was introduced to Lake Michigan, to decrease alewives' population. And Chinooks on the food web are secondary consumers. Juvenile may also be predator and prey, but when they get to adult, they are the top predator. Chinooks are also important for the water ecosystem because they eat invasive alewive. However, they are also an important food source for larger fish, humans, ducks, herons, and mammals. The food web is a delicate balance. One little change can throw off a whole system in disarray. Like Lake Michigan's food web has changed significantly in the last 200 years because of a few invasive species with monumental impact. Now Michigan's multi-billion-dollar salmon sports fishery is in peril. That is a large reason it is important to have schools participate in raising salmon in the classroom or, in South case, in the building.
And then they say goodbye. We load them in the back of the van and take them down to Buck Creek right at Wedgewood Park. And again, there's all these special classes and permits that you have to go through to get that, but it's easy cheesy lemon squeezy. The kids literally would hold them in their hands, let them go. Typically in years past, kids would get to release 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and families would come. We had Trout Unlimited teach kids how to tie flies, cast for fly fishing and for trout fishing, salmon fishing, bass fishing. They learned about the watershed and ecosystem because we have a really good organization here in Grandville to get kids involved with clean water and the watershed. So we're really trying to promote that. But one of the big things that we like about our fish is that we teach kids that we might be all different, but we all swim in the same school together. So, something we really enjoy. Do you guys have any questions for the ladies?
Yeah.
So, when you look at some of the predators out there, right? What kind of research or what have you guys done with regard to like the lamprey eel?
We didn't cover lamprey eel with this, but they
Really?
will eat the salmon.
Yes.
Yeah. And we kind of fondly referred to Tiny, one of their favorite, the big fish, as bird food when we let them go.
Oh, yeah.
We're like, swim, Tiny, swim, don't eat the bird food.
Yeah, I wondered, would you eat salmon? Oh my gosh.
It's my mom's
Nope.
favorite food, but I hate it.
That's what my question was.
Do you, when the DNR releases planted salmon, they snip off the adipose fin? Did you do that with your classroom fish or not?
We just went right into Buck Creek, and we've done that the last 3 years.
What do you do? Or what-
To signify that it's a planted fish, there's the adipose fin, which is the one
Oh, you had one on
right
a
kind
picture,
of
didn't you?
nearest their tail. The DNR clips that off so that they can tell easily if it's a planted fish or a natural fish.
Now, when we get them, they are just the eggs.
Yep.
Just the egg.
Yeah.
When do you get the eggs and when do you release them?
We get the eggs in November,
Right.
but the tank has to be up and running at the beginning of the school year to make sure we balance out all of the levels of everything. And then we release them anywhere from April 15 to May 15.
Can you use the city water or do you have to bring in like?
We use city water, and that's the chemicals that get tested and everything to make sure everything's stable. It takes a lot of chemicals to make sure it stays stable. But we did an experiment last year where we did no chemical changes because we said they don't have chemical changes out in natural. So we compared it, and the outcome was the same, except this year.
Interesting. Do your tanks have like a movement system in them?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
filtering.
And these poor girls even had to clean it all out when they were done. They wanted to do this. They,
So
volunteered
these
for the
two
job.
only, or were there?
They
have a
had the
team?
most interest in it. There were
Yeah.
kids who maybe would want to help out here and
Okay.
there, but
They
these
did it.
ladies were dedicated every week
Oh, thank you.
to making sure everything ran smoothly.
And has this spawned an interest in marine biology or conservationism on either of your parts?
I'm Jesse.
But it's okay, you gotta explore a lot of things to find out what you don't wanna do too.
Jess likes all
So
things
where
living.
are they originally from? You say they're not from the Great Lakes.
No, they're originally from like Washington, out by the Pacific Northwest. Yeah.
Okay.
And they brought them in to
They
get
thought
rid
they
of the
could survive
alewives.
here.
Because the alewives were taking over the lakes, and so they brought them in because they're a natural predator.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Nice job.
Nice job.
Very
Appreciate you
good.
being here. All right. Next item is consent action agenda. Can I get a motion to approve that? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right. Regular action items. The first one is the 7-8 middle school traffic signal installation. You know, things are getting real when we get to that point. Exactly. It is recommended that the Board of Education authorize Owen Ames Kimball Company, OAK, to issue a letter of intent in the amount indicated to the contractor listed pending confirmation that all requirements of the contract documents have been met. Upon receipt by OAK of all appropriate documentation, it is further recommended that the Board of Education award a contract to the contractor as specified below. Type of work: traffic signal, contractor DVT Electric Incorporated, an amount for $183,000. The qualified bid package from the contractor specified just now includes alternates in totals of $183,000. Can I get a motion? Thank you.
And we have Heather and two of our experts from OAK to enlighten you with this, so.
Yes, so as part of the middle school, we conducted a traffic study, and Jim Rosema with GMB, we tried to start the traffic study, and then we had a COVID shutdown, so that kind of postponed things, because obviously traffic patterns weren't what they normally are. So finally, we're able to get the traffic study completed. From there, MTC completed a geotechnical report, and then we trim utilized the details of the traffic study and the technical report to design the new traffic signal. So it will meet the City of Wyoming and MDOT standards and specifications. It'll have a box span layout with the steel poles with the 4 bolts at the bottom. There'll be a time-based coordination with GPS. Side street, we utilize wireless vehicle detection pucks to help with that, and then there'll be a countdown for pedestrian signals. Looking to install in spring of '23, and estimated approximately a month or so. We will be sending communication to neighbors tomorrow that would be affected by this installation. So we have 2 letters drafted up and people identified on those lists as well.
You ready?
I
always turn my head to the left first, just for the record.
Hold on.
Yep.
So, we did a traffic study for Canal. We have a traffic light. Is Wyoming doing anything during this time frame prior to that to improve the street, to widen it? And are we getting 3 lanes? I mean, how many lanes are going to be there specifically for that turn, and is it going to be lengthy enough?
So,
That's only my
Jim
first
Roseno,
question.
GMB, I guess I should probably announce myself there. The project will include a left turn lane, so there will be some slight widening through the intersection. So there'll be a left turn lane northbound to Jacob and a left turn lane southbound into the site. And the Jacob Street interchange, or the leg, the westbound leg or eastbound leg of that, will be resurfaced. There's a little bit of curb work that needs to be done to improve the radius on the south side of that, because of it's just, the geometry is not really appropriate. And drainage was the biggest deal with all of that. We also had to provide the sidewalk ramps, pedestrian, ADA accessible rampway, so that geometry for that configuration on the northwest and the southwest side required the reconstruction of some of the curb work through there. So the Improvements will go roughly 400 feet north of the intersection, and it'll taper back down to match the existing pavement section, maybe 150 feet south of the city boundary. And then as you go south of the intersection, the geometry is very similar. Another 300, maybe 350 feet, it'll taper back in. Driveways for the affected neighbors will be, replaced in kind. Most of them have asphalt paved driveways. There, I think, are a couple of concrete driveways that'll get replaced with concrete. No major grade changes to those driveways necessarily. It's just we're kind of widening. So you get into about 10 feet of their driveway, got to touch it up. Maybe move a mailbox.
So when you're going south, right, and there's that, I can't say the name of the street, when you're going east. Are the improvements going to end before that?
Are you thinking
As we are
Past?
heading
South?
south.
Going
Yes,
from-
yes.
From
Windcrest.
Jacob, you're
Is it
going
Windcrest?
south.
Windybrook?
And then you're gonna go,
Windy Brook?
there's a road that goes to the
Windybrook,
east.
yes, it's Windybrook, yeah. We will be done with our work well before that corner property. There's a property on a corner there, and we'll tie in just south, just to the north end of that.
And when will these improvements go?
That will all take place in the 2020, next spring.
Prior to,
Prior
The
to,
install?
my guess is it would, all the road work, maybe you can speak a little bit more directly to that, Rob.
Road work will start,
mhm.
Yeah, the city has had planned a resurfacing of canal for this year. They have deferred their work for another year so that we aren't cutting the pavement that they're going to replace.
Got it.
And
Makes sense.
as part of the project, the city is going to place the top course of asphalt through the whole thing so they don't have any seams. And I believe they're also going to be doing the striping as well.
Nice,
So,
nice. So, okay, that's all great. While we're talking about roads, let's talk about the next one.
52nd Street.
Yeah,
Second.
that's where my
So-
mind was going to.
At one time, we were talking about how, was the county gonna get involved with that?
The city.
That's a city road as well.
Yeah.
City street.
Yeah, at some point I thought it was the county as well, but what's the status on that? Because it almost seems like if we're gonna do it there, meaning ingress egress is gonna be there as well.
The traffic report didn't come back with a recommendation for a signal at that intersection. It recommended turn lane improvements and such, so.
Really?
Now, the one off of Canal, that one's a bus entrance.
That is the bus entrance, yes.
So traffic light at bus entrance, no traffic light at parent entrance.
Correct. Departures from the parents, they'll have the opportunity to make a left turn and depart up by Costco and out towards Wilson in that direction.
So that is going to be opened to go through to the high school.
Yes, that'll be signed
Okay.
as a route for egress to Wilson. So ideally northbound traffic or anybody who wants to go southbound on Wilson, maybe they'll ditch out that way.
Yeah. There's not light there either. It's kind of crazy with that left turn
Right.
out of there.
For a short period of time in the morning, the afternoon.
Yeah.
Was that in the original plan to have that road connect from 56 to the high school?
52nd?
52nd, sorry.
Yeah,
It has always been part of
It's
it.
always been
Mm-hmm.
part of
I don't recall it in the plan, so that's why.
I recall it there, but we weren't certain about whether people would go through or not.
Yeah,
One
we-
time when we
like
talked
take
about it.
like
Will,
they did with
will
the high
parents
school
be
for a
allowed to do
while.
drop-off at the high school on the back end?
We'll have to work through that, but there should be access to and from, but we'll have to have signage and probably study that further as we get, because there's the planned, the planned routes, and then there's the actual routes that people do,
Right.
and the timing and how everything works, so we'll have to watch that.
Yeah, because that back area in the high school, when you go around,
We used to
in the
have
morning
semis going
is
through
like
there.
students cutting across, they have their path that they go through,
Yeah.
and I'm just wondering
Right.
if parents are gonna wanna go that way, they're gonna wanna drop their two kids off at the different buildings
Right.
without having to go through that
Right.
whole
right, around and,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
No, thank you for the details.
You're welcome.
I could say a lot has gone into this, because I remember
Imagine.
meeting Jim at Wyoming City, that was a long time ago. That was-
2019.
Yeah, and that was really the start of all there's a lot that goes into that.
So all the road work is paid for by the city or done by the city, then that's how it works?
No, that's not the case. The bond is paying for the widening of the road. The city is contributing the top course of asphalt on the Canal Avenue portion of the project.
There's an
Because
assessment that we're probably paying up front because of the bond.
Right.
City assesses everything on it.
You know, the bond didn't pass, so,
All right.
All right.
Any more questions?
Nice job.
yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Let's take a roll call vote.
Ivor, Buck, yes. Jardine, Ham,
Yes.
Pollard,
Yes.
Wonderjum,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
No.
All right, final order of business. It is the approval of the master agreements for food service, library supervisor, paraprofessionals, school year secretaries. It is recommended the board ratify and officially sign the master agreement between the School Year Secretary Association, Paraprofessional Association, Library Supervisor Association, Food Service Employee Association, and Grandville Public Schools. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Thank you.
And normally I'd turn things over to John. He is at his daughter's jazz band concert tonight.
Very cool.
And so he has given you an overview. They're very, you can see on the summary sheet as far as wages, insurance, snow days, what's called the gap payment, which is over the holiday, the Christmas holiday and the spring break, as kind of appreciation for that time when they don't work, or an incentive for when they're not working there. And like I said, things are very consistent with our other groups as far as wages go there. And these went very, very well. We like our teachers and other sport people. We have great groups to work with, and I think these are very well received from them. So.
It's nice that we're consistent across the board, and especially for the parapros and food service and that. When there is a snow day, we give them a half a day. That's a great gesture.
Mm-hmm. It is. Any other questions or comments? All right, do a roll call vote.
Palmer,
Yes.
Jardine, Jahan,
Yes.
Buck, yes. Wonderjum,
Abstain.
Ivor, Klein.
Yes. All right.
Can I
Motion
add?
carries.
Sorry, no, I was counting wrong.
Okay. Very good, thank you. All right, well, we have no public comment tonight, so that concludes our meeting for the evening. Our next board meeting of the Grandville Board of Education will be on Monday, June 6th at 7 p.m. here at the admin building, which will be after school gets out. So congratulations on another successful year.
Is everyone going to the graduation?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
wouldn't miss it.
great. Full house.
Yeah, we will be talking soon about order
Oh,
papers, like
rows
who
and things
handing
that.
things out, all that kind of stuff, so.
Great.
Get those numbers. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
For those of you that don't know, Jim is a 1990 graduate.
Yeah.
Oh,
Grandville.
welcome back.